So the weather is getting colder, and a couple of days ago I was looking for dinner ideas, and lo and behold, YouTube recommended a Gordon Ramsay recipe video. Big shocker. No, not really. He's really popular, and he's a chef. He knows how to cook. Why not? So the recipe video is titled Winter Chicken Recipes to Keep You Warm. Oh, that title's cute. And I'll just show you a little snippet here. No, yeah. Chicken fricassee. So he also does the chicken fricassee. He does herb potatoes on the stovetop, and he also does that's still going. He also does a lavender creme caramel. I prepared the sugar, one of the ingredients for the creme caramel. I added sugar to a sprinkling, probably a teaspoon of dried lavender, and gave it a shake, and it's been doing its little aromatic lavender sugar thing ever since. Now, in the recipe video, Gordon Ramsay uses castor sugar. But in true Simply Mama Cooks fashion, I used what I had on hand in the pantry, and I had azúcar morena. So, Gordon Ramsay, if you see this, you probably are going to call me a donut. Please don't call me a donut. Actually, call me a donut. I would be honored. So anyways, I'm going to do this Gordon Ramsay French-inspired dinner for my family. I'm super excited. I know it's going to be yummy. Hopefully I do the recipe justice. And if you guys see Gordon Ramsay call me a donut, don't be mad. I think that's kind of cool. Here we go. Okay, so to start with the creme caramel, I'm going to use around 2 cups of whole milk. Now for the exact measurements and ingredients for this, you're going to have to purchase his cookbook. I will link it below. This is just me guesstimating from watching the video 100 times and some online research. So 2 cups of whole milk into a pot. Whoops. Jeez. I can hear Gordon Ramsay judging me now.
Oh, come on. Seriously? Donut?
But that's okay, I'm just going to clean this up. Okay, so I'm going to turn this onto a low heat and let this kind of warm and become steamy. I'm really not going to bring it up to a boil or a simmer. So here in a large cup, I'm adding 4 large eggs. I'm also going to scrape a vanilla pod and add that into the egg mixture. And my lavender sugar. Once that's added, you'll want to whisk and combine well. Now I'm going to slowly stream in my steamed milk, mixing vigorously, and I added a towel to stop my cup from sliding around. Should have done that first. So this is combined well. So now what I'm going to do is work on the caramel part. So I did several pans of sugar because I'm not good at this, but here I took a 1/3 cup of sugar in a small pan. You kind of swirl it around until it becomes a dark amber color. And I did this like 3 times. So I ultimately used 2/3 to almost a full cup of sugar. And you just pour it at the bottom of your ramekins. And here are all my dishes, all the pans that I used to do this. Yeah, it was work. I'm just so not good at that. Now I'm going to strain and pour in the mixture into my ramekins, and I am just making a mess today. I managed to get 6 ramekins, and I placed them in a 9x13 baking dish with a towel at the bottom to keep them from sliding around. I've poured boiling water halfway up the ramekins, and I'm going to bake them in a preheated oven at 335 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 to 35 minutes. And I remove them. I let them set on my counter for 2 to 3 hours. You can refrigerate them, but I kind of like it warm or room temperature. So you just take a knife, loosen it, and plop it right onto your plate. And you can add some dried lavender for garnish. I forgot to do that when I poured the custard in. But this is it. I'm digging in. I'm not even waiting for dinner. I'm starting with dessert, and oh man, it's so good. So good. And here comes my husband.
Oh, can I have some?
Mm-hmm. It's good, right? Okay, so now for the herbed potatoes. I'm going to be using 4 to 5 red potatoes. I'm using fresh rosemary and thyme. I'm also going to replace the goose fat for duck fat. Here I have shallots that I'm going to slice and garlic that I'm going to slice. So as per Mr. Ramsay's instructions, you want to slice your potatoes finger width. So I'm going to do that to about 3 to 4 potatoes. I didn't weigh it, you guys, sorry. So into a pot of water that I started to boil, and I'm going to parboil these for 5 to 6 minutes. Once that's done, I'm going to drain. Now in a preheated pan over medium heat, I'm adding cold duck fat around, 3 tablespoons. And I'm gonna add my potatoes. I'm gonna add some salt and just kind of give it a shake. The preheated pan plus the cold duck fat creates kind of like a non-stick surface. If you preheat the duck fat too much and add the potatoes, it becomes a sticky, starchy mess. So I'm just going to give it a shake, and I'm going to cook these until they're golden brown on each side, probably like 7 minutes on each side over medium heat. Now I'm going to add my shallots, give it a mix, my sliced garlic, I did about 3 cloves, and my fresh thyme and rosemary, and cook for another 5 to 7 minutes until everything's done. And this was easy. And it's so good. I had to try a potato. Now for the chicken fricassee. Here I have almost 4 pounds of chicken thighs and chicken legs. I'm adding salt and pepper to one side. And I preheated my pan. This is a large 12-inch. I'm going to add some cold grapeseed oil. He used olive oil. I added around 3 tablespoons. Now skin side down into the pan. And I'm going to brown this on each side for about 3 to 4 minutes until I get some good golden brown color. I'm also going to salt the other side of the chicken. So I've browned my chicken for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. Now I'm going to add pancetta. And I'm using 4 ounces of diced pancetta, and I'm going to start rendering the fat and cooking that along with the chicken. Now I'm going to add whole garlic that I've mashed. I kept the skin on. 1 large fresh bay leaf. Here I have fresh rosemary and thyme going in. And here's where things get tricky. Gordon Ramsay flambéed his pan, but I know my limits, people. I don't want to burn my house down. So what I did is just took brandy, which he does in the video, and I've added a couple of tablespoons, and over a medium-high heat, I just let that cook out. Now I'm going to add my mushrooms. This is 8 ounces of mushrooms, and I'm going to add somewhere between 1.5 to 1 3/4 of chicken stock, basically halfway up the chicken. It may be a little more. I'm going to let that reduce for about 15 minutes. And then I'm going to cover with a lid, and I'm going to offset the lid. I'm going to lower the heat and just let it simmer and cook for another 20 minutes or so, or until your chicken's done and the sauce has reduced. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes, and this is done. It smells amazing. So at this point, Gordon Ramsay added fresh parsley. So I just grabbed a whole bunch of fresh flat leaf parsley and just going to top it. I'm going to shut off the heat, and this is done. I'm going to let it set for about 10 minutes and serve with the potatoes. I'm so excited. Okay, you guys, I'm digging in. So here I have my chicken with some mushroom. I'm going to add a little piece of that pancetta. And my goodness, this was so worth it. It's really good. Now for the potato, which I know is good, by the way. This is definitely a great winter dinner. I'm just going to sit here and think about all the hard work I put into this. So you guys, 12 days of Vlogmas. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.